Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome to my series about Venus in all 12 houses. Thank you for journeying with me with this series. Now, you'll find as you watch this video that it is divided into two parts. The first section of the video is exploring the nature of Venus mythologically, astronomically, and of course, astrologically. So all those components will be explored here through a video that I did some years ago when I was a lot younger that was talking about all these things. So I've inserted that piece into this video for you to enjoy. But if you're here just to find out about the houses, then you can skip to the second part of the video, which is exploring the effects of beautiful Venus in each house of the horoscope. So I do hope you enjoy both components and get something out of it that can apply to your life. May I also encourage you, if you haven't done so already, to check out the lead video in this series, which is looking at Venus karmically and through an evolutionary astrology or karmic astrology lens to ascertain how Venus affects our relationships based on the journey of our soul over many lifetimes. This is a fantastic video. I'm actually quite chuffed about it, quite proud of it. So I do hope you have the time to go to the lead video in this series in the playlist and check out that video all about karmic Venus and its influence. And now, without any further ado, let us dive into the mythology, the astronomy, and the astrology of the beautiful planet in the night sky, Venus. So I thought I'd start by taking a little bit of a peek at what Venus actually represents. Now, in astronomy, not astrology, but in astronomy, the astronomy of the planet Venus, she's the only planet that can shine so brightly that she can cause shadows on Earth. Now, the moon does as a reflection of the sun's light. We know that happens. You can be out on a very strong moonlit night and see shadows and play of light that's actually quite beautiful. But the only planet that can do this is actually Venus, interestingly enough. And so sometimes she is just so bright in the sky. She's the brightest entity in the sky aside from the sun and moon. Sometimes she can be so bright that she causes shadows. That's only occasionally, but she can do it. One thing about Venus is that she rotates so slowly in the sky that she takes 234 Earth days to do one single rotation. As such, she actually has the slowest rotation of any planet in the whole solar system. And she is the hottest planet in the solar system. Even though Mercury is closer to the sun, due to the dense clouds of sulfur dioxide on planet Venus, any heat from the sun is trapped within those clouds and her thin atmosphere, causing the heat of the planet to be just so much hotter than Mercury, even though Mercury is in much closer proximity. So she is the hottest planet in the solar system as well. And of course, those of us who did our grade 5 astronomy lessons know that Venus sits as the second planet in the solar system, the second planet from the sun. You've got the sun, and then you've got Mercury, and then there's Venus, and then Earth. And she is considered also to be something of a sister planet to the Earth, as they're similar in size. So she's the nearest planet to Earth, and that's why she shines so brightly in the sky, not the star. Now, the mythology of Venus is also very interesting. The name Venus is the ancient Roman name for the goddess of love and beauty. In Greek, it was Aphrodite. So in Greco-Roman mythology, they share similar characteristics and similar qualities. So both Aphrodite and Venus, they governed fertility, romance, prosperity, and victory as well, interestingly. She was worshipped in many temples and many festivals all throughout Rome and as Aphrodite in Greece. And some people, including Julius Caesar, even considered her to be the ancestor of the Roman people. Of course, he'd attach himself to somebody as glorious as Aphrodite or Venus, wouldn't he? Now, some mythological legends say that Venus, was the daughter of the gods Zeus and Dione. There are some other legends, though, that say that she was birthed from the sea, not from a god itself, but birthed from the sea after Uranus was castrated by his son Saturn. So essentially, to get kind of gross here, hope you've got the M rating on this particular video, but Saturn castrated his father Kronos in mythology, otherwise known as Uranus, and from that castrated member that fell to earth into the oceans of Gaia, the earth, there arose out of the sea foam of that dismemberment the goddess Venus. So fascinating mythology there. I do want to talk a little more about the mythology of Venus, but at a later point, where we look at her mythology around being the morning and the evening star. So I'm going to explore that for you. Stay tuned for a little bit later in the video for that aspect of her mythology. But in astrology, Venus tells us about our enjoyment of pleasurable and beautiful things. She tells us about our love relationships, our connections with others. The things we need to live a comfortable life are also seen from Venus in a tangible sense. You know, our shoes, our clothes, our food, our cars, our shelter, all those nice, lovely things that we like to acquire to make life more comfortable for us. So wherever Venus sits in our chart is going to tell us all about how we interact with these ideas: love, beauty, pleasure, possessions, things we need to support our journey through life, refinement, sophistication, and women as well, seen through Venus, particularly young women. So wherever Venus sits in the chart, whatever sign, is going to tell us a lot about the dynamic that we have with those elements. Venus rules the sign of Taurus and Libra, and they're both very different signs, but they do, both of them carry a quality of beauty about them, a quality of pleasure, a quality of interaction and relationship. I'll compare the two of them for you just so that you know the great gamut of characteristics that Venus actually rules. Taurus is this very earthly, natural beauty. Taurus correlates to the natural realm of Earth, and so butterflies essentially, but also forests and, you know, generally speaking, the things of nature like the animals and the flora, fauna, and, you know, rivers and lakes and mountains and just the earth and being in nature is Venus in a general sense. Venus also correlates through Taurus to money, making money, the tangible things, like I said before, that we need to support our journey through life, like pleasurable things, yummy food, going out to a restaurant and eating at a lovely food, and clothing, shopping, beauty therapies, beauty treatments. These are seen through the sign of Taurus and Venus's rulership of the sign of Taurus. It's also self-love that we associate with the energy of Taurus as well. The ability to feel safe, to be secure, is seen through Taurus. Venus rules Libra as well. Now Libra, as opposed to Taurus's type of beauty, which is that natural, earthy kind of beauty, we might think something we want to touch, something we want to hug, something we want to be close to and be a part of even. We might even compare it to, say, the beauty of Marilyn Monroe, which, you know, men wanted to hold her, women wanted to be her. There is this desirability factor with the beauty of Marilyn Monroe, very Taurian. Not so much natural, she was bleached blonde and everything, but she had that desirability, sensuality factor of Taurus. Libra, on the other hand, is more the Grace Kelly type of beauty. You just admire it. My God, it's breathtaking. Look how beautiful and elegant she is. That's Libran beauty. It's not so tactile. It's not so touch focused. It is more, let's say, adoration focused. So it's that kind of sophisticated, classic, refined beauty that we see through the sign of Libra, also ruled by Venus. Libra is also ruled by Venus, and it covers things like diplomacy, fairness, equality, making harmony and balance a priority. It's the peacemaker. It's like I said, harmonizing situations, harmonizing interactions between people. All these are seen through the sign of Libra, and Libra rules relationships. Not just the tactile, sensual, let's get down to the nitty-gritty kind of stuff of Taurus, but more the I love you, I'm committed to you, beyond the touch, taste, see, hear, and smell. I am in a love, intimacy bond with you, we see through the sign of Libra that Venus rules. It's also business partnerships. It's quite a business-oriented sign, Libra. And so it connects to those things as well. And our interactions with the other, anyone else, can be seen. Our relationships are seen through Venus. Libra ruled by Venus. Now Venus is, if you want to use an archetypal image, she's like this beautiful goddess or a beautiful woman. She is a feminine energy, or an ancient goddess full of this wonderful self-love, because she is very, very connected to the idea of self-love. You must be in love with the self, and then you have something to offer others. All of us, even men, will have Venus in the chart somewhere. And because of this, we have Venus in our hearts. We have a love of beauty somewhere tucked away in us. We have a love of giving love and receiving love to some capacity within us. Venus teaches us to love the beauty in other people, no matter what it looks like, how different it is to us. By really embodying the full self-love component of Venus, we learn to love the beauty in others, whatever that shape that takes, and we allow ourselves to be loved and to be uniquely beautiful as well when we fully embrace the energy and the beauty of Venus. Quite a fabulous, adorable little planet. When Venus is placed in the third house, well, this is what is known as a Dhyana yoga for self-made wealth, DHANA. It's a yoga for self-made wealth. It means that you are going to have the ability to create money for yourself on your terms, to be your own boss. So this can be quite a blessing if you are inclined to have your own business. In the third house also, Venus here will incline you to like to think and talk and communicate in a way that's very Venusian. What is Venus? Sweet, gentle, very receptive. So it's a positive placement for good listeners. Now it's also a placement for the use of beautiful words. Often salespeople do very well with this placement. But I want to say, if you're dating someone, beware of lovers who've got this placement, because they might just seduce you with their words and promise the world. Depending on the rest of their chart, they may not follow through, okay? Heads up on that one. But when Venus is here, you will love to talk when you have this placement. Venus is what we love. And you'll like to chat and chat and chat all day. And you will bond with other people mostly through third house things. Talking, communicating, writing letters, but also walking, intellectual conversations, sharing humorous moments. This is the house of our Comedy Central, so to speak. And so these things will be what bonds you with other people. You will also think, talk and communicate about Venusian things, about aesthetics, design, harmony, balance. You'll talk about peace and diplomacy, about beauty, about refinement, nature, art. You'll talk about women's issues. You'll talk about love, relationships, obviously. You'll talk about money and investments, entertainment, luxuries, values. All of these things are Venusian things, and that's where your thoughts will go and your conversation will follow. So you can attract more wealth in your life through your Venus placement, no matter where it is in the chart. And here in the third house, it's through third house things that you can attract more wealth in your life. So taking a short trip might, lead to some form of wealth. You might, go to an Airbnb, for example, and you might encounter somebody there also staying at the Airbnb who gives you an entrepreneurial idea or the chance to, go into give you a concept that you can work with or something like that. So taking a short trip can be very financially beneficial in some manner. Writing a blog, learning an instrument, doing some sort of craftsmanship or some skills-based work, or running your own small business, as I've already said, can be very lucrative for you when you've got this placement. Venus is also love, as we know, so you can find love through undertaking a third house type of endeavor. Maybe, out for a walk one afternoon with your dog, and you stop and talk to someone else with a little dog, and away you go there, you're falling in love. Taking a little holiday, taking a trip, short trip, weekend away could, have you encountering some romantic tete-a-tete that you never expected. Studying a new course, meeting in a small group environment can have you, encounter someone that you fall in love with. Or even hanging out with your siblings. Siblings are seen through the third house, so it's through third house things that love can come. So third house also represents short-term things, not things for the long haul. And so with this placement, it can actually give a lot of short-term relationships as well. So don't worry about that. There will be probably other factors in your chart that indicate sort of long-term relationships at some point in life. Maybe with the maturation of a certain planet will come long-term relationships. If Venus is in Taurus in the third house, it is more likely to be enduring. But we can also see Venus here can give, shorter term relationships frequently. Now, for a woman who has Venus in the third house, it shows how you express your femininity. And for a man, this will also show what kind of woman he is going to be keen to date and fall in love with. And in both cases, this will be somebody who likes to talk a lot, likes to communicate, or is very into writing, someone who's very involved in their neighborhood. Neighborhood is seen through the third house. Tribe is seen through the fourth house, but the neighborhood, doesn't necessarily have to be. So let me explain the difference. Tribe, fourth house, is people that think like you, feel like you, your blood relatives even, but even aside from blood relatives, your group, your sense of belonging. Your neighborhood, quite naturally, is where you live, whether you get along with the people or not. So they're the people that are in your environment, but you don't choose to be in. They don't choose to be in your environment. You don't choose them to be in your environment. So with Venus here, you will be somebody. Venus for a woman shows that you're involved in the neighborhood. Venus for a man shows the kind of woman or partner. If you're not into women, maybe it's a man you're looking for, and you'll be looking for somebody, a partner, who is involved in their neighborhood or involved with their siblings, or someone who's full of information, somebody who has lots of skills, lots of talents, somebody who is very curious and very knowledgeable about many things. Here in the house of the hands and what we do with our hands, the creations of our hands can be very beautiful. We can produce glorious handwriting, beautiful drawings and art. We might have great makeup skills. Our design skills are just very enhanced when we have Venus here in the third house. We're also very capable of finding commercial resources for business. We get easy access to equipment. The third house represents the tools that we use. So that's why we talk about the third house being to do with trades. Like a hairdresser uses a hairdryer. That's a tool of her trade. A builder uses hammers and saws, the tools of their trade. A leather worker might use sort of leatherworking tools, particularly designed for their type of work. Jewelers use jewelers' tools, etc. So we have easy access in some way with Venus here. Venus represents easy access to obtaining the tools for our craftsmanship purposes, and also for our commercial purposes, our retail purposes, our business purposes as well. Any tools. Now, obviously, getting a certificate in something is a tool for your business, so it doesn't have to be an actual tool. It can be something that serves the purpose of enhancing your business. If you have a small business and you need a business certificate in something or other, that's a tool. So the company that you keep is seen through the third house, and obviously the company you keep can be very beautiful. There might be a lot more women in your environment if you are a man with this placement, and your younger siblings can also be very attractive. It may indicate in some charts that younger siblings are feminine, are female, but not always. So, in a reading, you would err on the side of asking, are your younger siblings, very, very attractive, very pretty, very beautiful, rather than sort of asserting that they're going to be, women. Siblings can also be involved in very Venusian things, careers of diplomacy, careers to do with art or aesthetics, careers that revolve around relationships and connections, careers to do with money and banking or collecting things, preserving, conserving things. So your siblings can be involved in careers of a Venusian nature. And your image on paper can be very photogenic and very attractive with this placement. This is the house of what we, when we put our thoughts onto paper, that's a third house thing. That's writing. That's communicating. And when Venus is here, our image going onto the paper, in a photograph, can come out very well. So we're very photogenic. wherever Venus sits shows us what we tend to spend money on. And here in the third house, you might spend money on short trips and little getaways, on books and magazines, on subscriptions, on advertising and marketing. You might spend money on courses and webinars, on skills, learning new skills, on tools, etc. for your particular talents and abilities and skills. Money goes into third house things when we have Venus in the third house.